Absolute chaos at Ibrox as Russell Martin clings to his job by a thread ahead of a do-or-die Old Firm derby that could seal his fate or blow up the season entirely. Rangers set to make Hamza Igamane announcement. Rangers rejected by top Frankfurt midfielder Junior Dina Ebimbe as transfer targets slip through the cracks, while the club takes a massive risk chasing Everton's striker Youssef Chermati. Now, in a jaw-dropping twist, Rangers enter talks to rescue Leeds United's fallen star Ilan Meslier, offering him a Europa League lifeline after being dropped to third-choice keeper. And to top it all off, the Americans are flying in with Russell Martin's head already on the block. Stay locked in. It's all kicking off, and it's only just begun. Well, it's now or never for Russell Martin. The decision's been made. He'll be in the dugout for the Old Firm. But let's be honest, I know, and every soul who's stepped foot inside Ibrox recently know this is pure madness. We've gone winless in the league, humiliated in Europe with that absolute embarrassment against Club Brugge, a 9-1 spanking across 2 legs. And yet, here we are, letting the man cling on like a dug with a slipper. 83 days in the job, and he's already got that 1,000-yard stare, like he knows he's not long for this world. And now, with the American owners flying in for Sunday's derby, you can feel the axe being sharpened. But instead of pulling the trigger early, they've handed him the Old Firm like it's some sort of last-chance saloon, and if he wins, he might buy himself a week. If he loses, you'll hear the boos echoing through Ibrox all the way to New York. This isn't just about losing games, it's about losing the dressing room, the support, and worst of all, the identity. Under Martin, Rangers look soulless. Where's the fire? Where's the grit? This club demands more than passing triangles and empty press conferences. We need leaders, not lecturers, and what makes it worse, there are options. Steven Gerrard's out there, a proven winner with a title under his belt, unbeaten, mind you, and he gets this club. You've got Sean Dyche, a no-nonsense gaffer who'd boot a few egos up the backside and bring some much-needed steel. And then there's Gary O'Neill, who might not have the medals, but has the man management skills that Martin sorely lacks. But instead of acting decisively, we're sleepwalking into disaster. If Celtic turn up on Sunday and leave Ibrox with 3 points, not only does Martin walk, he might just take the season with him. Here's what I want to know. If Russell Martin wins the Old Firm, does that really change anything? Or are we just delaying the inevitable and gambling your season on a man who's already shown he's not fit to lead Rangers? You're not going to believe this one. It's all but done. Hamza Igamane is out the door. Rangers are set to officially announce his departure, with the Moroccan forward heading to Lille after the French side triggered his release clause. £10.4 million, that's the number. And it all started with him refusing to come off the bench against St Mirren on Sunday. That was the moment it all cracked. From being a breakout star to being boxed up and shipped off before the window shuts. Now, let's be clear, Rangers signed the boy from Far Rabat. Just last summer, for £1.7 million, he came in, fought his way into Philippe Clement's plans, became a key figure up top, while Danilo nursed yet another injury and even kept Dezers, who banged in 29 goals, looking over his shoulder. But now, 1 year later, and he's off to League One with a near £9 million profit for the club. From a business point of view, you can't fault it. This is the exact kind of smart recruitment that's been talked about for years. Find a diamond in the rough, polish it under the Ibrox lights, and sell it on for proper money. It's sustainable, it's smart, and it's the future if Rangers want to stand toe-to-toe in Europe and dominate domestically. But let's not sugarcoat it either. The boy refused to come on. When your club's chasing 3 points in front of your support and you're needed and you say no, that's not just a bad attitude, that's poison. Doesn't matter how many goals you've scored, that's not what it means to wear the shirt. And from that moment, the writing was on the wall. Still, it raises a bigger question. Because if a player can throw a strop and force a move that nets the club millions, what's to stop the next one doing the same? Is making millions from a player worth it, even if he disrespects the badge on his way out? Well, if Russell Martin's walking the tightrope, then this transfer business feels like a blindfolded sprint across a collapsing bridge. Let's start with Junior Dina Ebimbe, a dynamic midfielder, Champions League experience, came through PSG, played nearly 90 times for Frankfurt, exactly the type of player Rangers should be attracting. And what does he do when the offer comes in? Turns it down. Late in the window, with Ibrox burning and the walls closing in. Now, you could brush it off and say, maybe the deal wasn't right for him. But let's be real, this is another public dent to the club's pulling power. The squad's already full of new arrivals that have looked like rabbits in headlights. Nasser Giga and Max Aron's nightmare stuff. Thalo Arsgaard playing as a lone striker against St Mirren. That's not tactics, that's pure panic. And yet, even with all these so-called reinforcements, Martin's begging for more. Which brings us to the Youssef Chermati situation, a £12.5 million striker brought to Everton, now being linked with a last-minute lifeline move to Ibrox, despite not scoring a single goal in 24 appearances. That's right, zero, nada, not even a tap-in a cup game. And this is the lad Martin wants to gamble the entire attack on, with his job dangling by a thread. It feels less like a strategic signing and more like a desperate roll of the dice in the dying minutes of a lost game. You've got a leaky defense, a blunt attack, and now the transfer targets are either rejecting Ibrox or arriving with worse stats than your average Sunday league forward. Look, Chermati might be a hidden gem. Maybe he just needs the right system, the right support, and the right pressure cooker environment to spark into life. But ask yourself this, if Martin's already failed to improve what we've got, why would anyone believe he's the one to unlock a striker who couldn't hit a barn door in the Premier League? Is it worse that Russell Martin's transfers are falling through, or that the ones he is getting over the line look nowhere near good enough to wear a Rangers shirt? Right then, you've got Russell Martin hanging by a thread, the team still licking wounds from a European humiliation, and now talks to bring in Illan Meslier from Leeds United. Yes, the same Meslier who not long ago was the next big thing between the sticks at Elland Road, now relegated to third choice behind Carl Darlow and a Brazilian lad called Lucas Perry. Let's not pretend we don't know what this is. It's not just about strengthening the squad. It's a last-ditch attempt from Martin to cling on to relevance, because when your number one keeper, Jack Butland, ships 9 goals over 2 legs to Club Brugge, the whole idea of building from the back collapses faster than a Celtic defense under pressure. Mellier's story is classic football rise and fall. Came in under Bielsa, played over 200 games, was tipped for the top, then imploded under the pressure when it mattered most. Cost Leeds big points last season and ended up watching their promotion run from the bench. But despite all that, there's a keeper in there, a big frame, good shot stopper on his day, and still only 24. The catch? He's not match sharp, low on confidence, and Valencia sniffing around too. But instead of letting the Spanish sunshine lure him in, Rangers have thrown down a Europa League lifeline, European football, fresh start, and maybe, just maybe, the platform to resurrect his career. That is, if Martin's still around to see it. Because here's the kicker, bringing in a keeper with a mistake-prone reputation to replace another keeper who's currently in a slump. That's not solving a problem, that's just swapping broken pieces and hoping one of them holds together. And let's be clear, this isn't about just one signing. We're talking about Chermati up top, Meslier at the back, and who knows how many others before the window slams shut. This looks less like a structured rebuild and more like a manager flinging darts at a board and praying one hits the target. Now ask yourself this, does it reek of desperation that Rangers are targeting a keeper dropped during a title run just to replace a keeper who's fallen apart under pressure himself? Comment below what you think about the news. Don't forget to leave a like on the video to help me out. I post videos every day talking about our Rangers, so if you're not subscribed, you're missing out on the latest news. See you soon.